Okay, very good, very good. So the purpose of today's class, really, to simplify this notion or this topic around universal laws. It has been, majority of people, those who are using manifestation or law of attraction, they are aware that okay, we have such thing, we do have universal laws, but they know a general idea about it, not necessarily how to use it or how would that apply to their endeavor, if it's success, if it's relationship, if it's health, and so forth. And there's this confusion around, okay, is it this law or this law? Which one is more important? Which one comes first? Which one I can use most effectively inside my journey or my life? And my intention is to bring clarity into that, into this topic, and also to explain. A lot of people have been asking me, Fatima, what's the secret of your quantum success, or what have you done to jump so rapidly and so successfully into what you're doing? I will simplify it. This is really maybe what it boils down to. Of course, there's other things that I have been doing, the discipline of mind and having supportive habits. This is another conversation. But operating from the laws with this deep understanding that I'm about to offer you tonight is maybe the number one secret behind my success. Many ask about self-image. Many ask about changing the identity. I think in the beginning, when you are in your beginning of your journey, it's a little bit hard to see a little bit 10 steps forward. You can only see maybe one or two steps ahead of you. So operating with a known thing, with a known factor, will facilitate that change that you're about to bring inside your life. Makes sense? Because I have done the affirmations, I have done the self-image script, I have done all the discipline thing, the meditation, all of it I have done. But working with a known scientific proven kind of system or a methodology is the reason why I have accomplished what I have accomplished. Another reason is that because I'm very much intellectual, I operate from left brain, not the right brain, not the creative part of my brain. So hopefully you will walk away tonight with a great deal of clarity, and then you will have tips and application points inside your life, and say you could say, finally I understand what are the laws and how I can use them, and today I will operate from this law. And therefore you can track the success, you can track the results and say, okay, now the universe is responding to me, and you are in this co-creation mode. So I want you to take a moment on your journal to write down why you are here and what are you hoping to accomplish or walk away with. Ideally, I don't want you just to be entertained tonight. There's no entertainment, obviously, but I want you to be intentional about everything that you're doing. Set an intention so within the hour you can walk away with what you have intended for yourself. I'll give you a minute to do so. So you know you have an intention, you have a clear outcome that you want to walk away with, which is very good. So why the laws? Why universal laws? Why the laws? Basically what it is, you are navigating through life. You are launching desires. You want the house, you want the bag, you want the car, you want the income, you want the children, you want the relationship. And as you're walking around in life, you want systems, you want things to work with. And often we are unaware of these things, like you are trying by trial and error. Like you will try once, if it works, great. If it doesn't, then you don't know what to do. You go ahead, excuse me, and you try something different. You want to understand that the universal laws are part of the metaphysics of universe. So they are not theories. They are not something that some philosophers sometime at a point of history they came up with it because it makes sense, or it was sounding good, or because they were the philosopher of that kind of era, or because they have been it's in the Bible or in the Holy Book or whatever. No, it's scientific. It's actually a part of the existence of the universe itself. It's just that throughout history, scholars and people who have been studying this metaphysics science were able to kind of point toward certain things that through observation, through discovery, through application, they found that, okay, this works and this is how it works, through evidence and through application, as I mentioned. So these laws, it touches us, it impact us. They dictate how we show up in life, and it also dictate how the universe or life respond back to us. If you are thinking that, okay, this is theory, I will learn about it, it's good to know, then I'm part of the pack, you are missing the point. Then you are sure to have annoying, repetitive circumstances that you don't enjoy, that cause you pain, that cause you hurt, in that nature. But if you are taking this as part of your expanding your awareness, you are expanding your consciousness in the metaphysical realm, in the realm of the unseen forces, then definitely you are setting yourself up to be in a position of power, to be in a position of influence, and to be in a position of alignment with the universe. So that this is where you achieve success very, very easily, very, very quickly. So if this is what you want, this is the lesson for you to pay attention to. So I hope that you will look at metaphysics, not theoretically, as I said, but as mechanics, meaning it's an application, and you are looking at it as things that you will take to do inside your life. Doing is appropriate in here. Often with the laws of manifestation, we say, oh, the law of least effort. I don't want to struggle. I want it to be easy, effortless. Yes, it will be easy and effortless, but it requires some sort of action from your side. And this is the metaphysic part of it. So stay along with me. It will make a lot more sense as we go a little bit further. But I don't want you to imagine for a second that, okay, for example, law of attraction, I think about it, therefore it will happen to me. If it's so, why you're not so successful? Why the millions of dollars are not at your doorstep by now, right? So it requires some sort of action. It's a strategic action, and you having the laws as a window to look at your interaction with the universe will facilitate that process for you, okay? Let's define the laws. First of all, what's the definition of law? Anyone? What is your definition or understanding of the law? Any law?
It's concrete, it's unchangeable, it's eternal.
Okay, that's one way to look at it. Anybody else? You can just raise your hand. What is your definition of law? Anyone? Yes, Shoshana? You're muted, my dear.
It's something you can rely on. It's repeatable. It's dependable.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Courtney, my friend, so good to see you, man.
Thank you. So the question is law or love?
Law, L-A-W.
I believe that law is like order. That's how I think of it, order.
Yeah, that's valid. That's good. Thank you. Sanaz?
I think it's orders that help govern a system.
Yeah, that's the key word. Thank you. Of course. So law is a set of rules or a system of rules that they have one purpose only. They will govern your behavior inside a society or inside a body, and your behavior with the system, and your behavior between other people who are ruled by the same law. Make sense? So it governs how your mobility inside that kind of society or inside that kind of place that this law is ruled by. When we say universal laws, they are same set of rules. They are not changeable. As Geshe said, they are not changeable. They are eternal laws. The laws of the human being, they are changing. Why? Because, change of time, change of needs, people are changing, the requirement, whatever. But the universal laws, they are eternal, they don't change. Therefore, they are not something that if you don't like today, you can sign a petition and then you go change it tomorrow. They are existing since the beginning, and they will continue to exist until the end of time. So there are set of rules and principles that they are applied universally. What does that mean? Everywhere, wherever you go, that law exists. So this law does not discriminate. It does not favor anyone. It does not give you little and give someone more. It's equally the same across the board. So this is really what universal laws means. Another definition for it, that it also works, or another characteristic of it, is it works 100% of the time. There's no such thing that it will work today, it doesn't work tomorrow, or it will work for you because you were younger, now that you're older it doesn't work. That is not correct. It will work 100% of the time, and it is on 100% of the time. So you want to pay attention to this, because this is critical. This is the foundation of everything that you will do inside your manifestation journey, or you navigating life toward your big goals, or what you want to accomplish. If you have a block in your journey or in your success, if you have something that you don't like, that's the effect. You guys get this? We tend to look at it as, oh, this I don't like, this is the cause of my misery. My dear, whatever you are seeing in your life experience, that's the effect. That's the result of a cause. So people tend to say, oh, you have to be responsible. You are the cause of it 100%. I disagree with that. The cause could be somewhere else, partially could be with you. You guys get this? This is key. So the cause is always somewhere else. What you're seeing, what you're experiencing, what you're noticing is the result, is the effect, it's the outcome of the law or the cause that has been happening somewhere else. Sometimes it's with you, it's partially with you, but it's not 100% with you, because you don't live on singularity on this universe. You live co-creatively with others. So if this is true, the cause is somewhere else, it's your duty and obligation to go and find that cause, isn't it? So you can prevent it from happening and repeating. You don't want to live this constant living of annoyance, heartbreak, and misery, do you? That's sick. You don't want to do that. So it makes sense that you invest the time and effort to go and find where is the cause. Yes, it's you, partially, not 100% you, but where else could be possibly the cause. So the laws give you a hint, a roadmap, a system, like a formula to work with, that if you apply it knowingly, you will be the king and the queen of this universe. So with that token, if you don't understand the laws, if you don't operate with the laws, you are the servant of the master. The laws become the master, you are the servant. If you, however, reverse that, you understand and you deliberately and intentionally co-create with the universe using the laws, you become the master. The law becomes the unseen forces that are working in your favor. You guys get this? The laws becomes one of the soldiers that universe is giving you to help you achieve your goals faster. Understood? Any question about that? Okay, great. So what kind of laws do we have? Shoshana, let me move forward. I will come back to your question. What kind of laws do we have? So throughout history, people have developed, or they kind of originated some kind of laws because they wanted to facilitate how they interact with each other, or they could understand the external things that are happening inside their world, their universe, so to speak. So at the heart of all laws, you can see that there is some similar components, but majority of the laws, they were either social or religious or demographic, like based on a geographic place or based on gender base. But the universal laws, as we said, they are equally the same across the board. And we want to find the similarity between all of them. So your job today, 3 things you need to do. Number 1, you need to understand the law. Whatever law you want to operate with, you want to understand it. Understanding means you can say what it is, you can explain it to another human being. So you want to understand it from that perspective, okay? So if you were to choose to use that law, you are understanding why you are using it and how you are using it. So this is number 1. Number 2, you want to understand, okay, this law, whatever law of attraction, for example, how does it work? You want to understand the mechanic, the workability of this law. Number 3, you want to decide. So understand. Number 3, you want to decide on what does that mean to you and how are you going to choose, or how you are going to use it effective today, tonight, this very moment. Because what did we say? The law is working all the time. It does not stop. So understand, and make a decision to find a point of application. Clear? Shoshana, what was your question? Okay, great. So throughout my research, probably some of you have seen 7 laws, some of you have seen 12 laws, 15 laws, whatever number of laws that you have seen. I was able to locate over 50 laws, 50, okay? They are all legit, they are all valid, they are all, they have mechanics, they have applications, they have all the characteristics in them. But I was able to summarize these laws, not the 50, but what I personally have used and applied, and I can speak to, into 4 main categories. Number 1, the laws of the mind. Number 2, the laws of money, prosperity, wealth, or success. Number 3, spiritual laws. Spiritual laws, the way I mean it, linked to your body, linked to your energy centers or your chakras. And finally, universal laws, which are both scientific and spiritual. And we can agree that they are the laws of energy. Tonight, I'm only going to briefly give you an overview of some of the universal laws. So we will not be going into the laws of the mind or money or spirituality. We will just specifically talk about the universal laws. Good? Very good. Okay. All right, so let's dive into it. At the heart of all laws, or the law of all laws, is one law only. The rest of it is just subsidiary. So we have, in this universe, we have one law, one LAW, and then the rest of the laws, the rest 50, 100, whatever numbers that we have, they are only subsidiary laws. What is this one generic one law, which is the law of laws? God is, or energy is. This is the law. So the law of non-duality, the law of singularity, this is the only law that exists in the universe. What does that mean? That means God, universe, whatever you want to call it, energy is the center of everything. In my previous class in prosperity, I told you can have success when you make God the center, or you will have failure if you made ego is your center of creation. So when it comes to universal laws and how you navigate with the universe, it must have God or energy or source be the center of it. So therefore, nothing really is created. You cannot create anything in this universe. Literally, you cannot bring nothing. From nothing, you create something. You are always manipulating some sort of energy, turning it into something else, isn't it? The only creator that we can all agree on that exists is what has been already existing, which is God or source or energy. So if you understand this, then understanding the rest of the laws will be very easy without having mental conflict. Any question about this? Clear? Very good. Okay. So let's talk about the common shared laws among the universal laws. So some teachers, they said there are 7. Some teachers, they said there are 12. Some teachers, they said there are 8. I have only 4 that I'm working with constantly. So these are the 4 main laws that I could possibly give credit to my success, because this is where I think whenever I'm facing any situation, and this is how I applied myself in my interaction with the universe. Number 1, the law of cause and effect. I call this the law of all laws. This is the masterpiece, truly. And I'll explain why. The law of cause and effect creates ripple effect inside your life. It is actually creating a ripple effect. You cannot stop it. It always goes and goes and goes. It doesn't stop. So if you are not conscious around what you're creating or what impact you are having, it just continues to be the same. But imagine if you are conscious and you are deliberately influencing this law to create, let's say, financial success or relationship success or health and vitality success, this law will be your biggest servant, or your truly giant genie in Aladdin lamp, or whatever you want to call it. So what does that mean? What does that mean? What is the law of cause and effect? The law of cause and effect says that every cause has an effect, right? And every effect becomes a cause of another effect. You guys get this? Every effect has a cause, right? And every effect becomes the cause for another effect. So it's this chain of cause and effect non-stop, continuously. There's only one thing, that this effect that becomes the cause of another is becoming a cause of a bigger effect. And this next effect that is becoming the cause of another effect is becoming the cause of a bigger effect. So it's constantly growing and moving further and further. You guys get this? Okay. This law is very responsive, is very dynamic. It doesn't stop. It doesn't really alternate. It just takes it and runs away with it. The beauty about this law that you can influence it directly. You can stop the cause at any point. You can alternate the effect at any point. It's easier to be influenced. It's easier to be manipulated, so to speak. This is the beauty about it. Okay, this is the best law to help you realize and come into your power through two things. 2 things you need to do. Number 1, you want to recognize what's happening. So if you are unaware, unconscious around what's happening around you, this law you cannot influence, you cannot touch, you cannot do anything with. But let's say you are aware, oh my God, yes, I did shift my energy. I did change something inside my interaction, let's say with my husband. Therefore, I'm enjoying a more fulfilling relationship. Oh, that's cause and effect in action. Your recognition will help you be able to be the master and have the law be your servant. This is number 1. Number 2, taking responsibility for it. So if you are the one who caused it, you are responsible for it. Therefore, you are the leader in here. You are the one who can change it. Make sense? So number 1, recognition. Number 2, taking responsibility. You cannot be a victim operating with the laws. You are constantly in a position of power. You are constantly in a position of influence. You are not leaving anything for chance, for luck, for something to happen. Therefore, this statement, it was meant to be, is a false statement. There's no such thing. Oh, this was a coincidence. There's no such thing. somewhere along the line, you have caused a cause and effect that resulted into this coincidence that you're experiencing right now. Okay, Fatima, so does that mean that I am a cause and effect on my own? Yes, you are. You are this human being, this beautiful human being. You are a cause and effect on your own. When you are interacting with another human being, you both are a cause and effect in your both energies. That's why you should be extremely careful who you spend your time with, what you say, how you say it, and so forth and so forth. You guys get this? I'm very conscious of the law of cause and effect. Anything I don't like, I say, shit, what did I do? Okay, let me go back and fix it. And let me go back and correct my energy, because it's all energy. You can influence it, you can change it. You can become the cause of another thing, another outcome. So you recognizing this, yes, I can, that already is giving you enough power to create. Because here's the thing, God created this whole universe for you. Everything in this universe is at your service. So now you are exercising that power. How you are doing this? How you are doing this? By your recognition and then taking responsibility. Questions before I move from this law? If you master the law of cause and effect, the rest of the laws are extremely easy. This is the most difficult because it requires your attention. You pay attention, you recognize it, and then you are able to influence it. This law will have immediate, direct kind of response or communication with you. It doesn't take ages. Right away, you will see an action back, like a communication back. Versus other laws, no, it takes a little bit some time to shift. Even law of attraction doesn't happen instantly. This, the law of cause and effect, it's almost instant. And it grows in ripples. So it's instant and it's growing. This is one of my my all-time favorite laws. Questions about the law of cause and effect? Anyone? No? It's clear? Okay. The law of polarity, or the law of opposite. This is the second law that I constantly use. This law is the law that will help you in your business and in your finances as well. We are hitting a recession. You guys know that. It's not a secret. We are maybe entering a depression, maybe, hopefully not. So having that in mind, knowing that, okay, with every polar opposite, there's the other polar opposite as well. With everything, we have the opposite of it. Then you are not panicking. Then you are not in a state of despair. You are not in a state of fear. You are still remaining in power. Remember, the whole purpose of the laws is to help you stay powerful, to help you stay in control. So if you are panicking, if you are fearful, if you are afraid, if you are worried, if you are concerned, you cannot create. You are at the effect of the law. You are not the cause of the laws. You guys get this? So the law of polarity, or the law of opposite, this is the easiest law to understand, because every positive has a negative. Male, female, rich, poor, up, down. It's very, very easy to understand. So where it's easy to understand, at the lowest level of awareness. Let's say I'm someone who never read about any spiritual laws or any spirituality or any, I'm not someone who invests in myself. I never studied anything. So to understand the law of opposite at a very lower level of awareness, i.e. with kids level, you can understand and use and apply this law. So what does that mean? You are recognizing that you are a human being. You are a bunch of chemicals, and you can only work with what you can see, touch, smell. Therefore, this law is appropriate for anyone to kind of work with. You guys get this, or I'm confusing you? Okay, good. Okay, good. How do I know? I teach children this law. I teach them. So the law of opposite or polarity is very easy for them to understand it. The beauty about this law, if you continuously use it over time, you elevate yourself through the levels of consciousness. You move from being just human being that you can only work with what you can see, touch, feel, smell, into working with the unseen forces. Make sense? So basically this law says that everything has two sides, but here's the thing. These two sides exist at the same time. You cannot have one without having another. You guys get this? So both sides, they are existing at the same time. There is no such thing that you are successful without having the other side of success, which is failure, not existing within your energy field. Fatima, this is scary. Does that mean that I will fail? Possibly. By law, yes. Unless you do things that prevent that. You focus more on the success. You feed more to the success. You activate more cause to generate more effect on the success side of the equation. With the same token, let's say you are having a financial hardship right now, God forbid, just example. Yeah, that means also that prosperity or financial success is available for you. What do you need to do? You need to cause financial success and shift your focus from poverty to prosperity. You guys get this? So this is very, very, very easy to work with. Another good application of this law is femininity and masculinity. It's very popular these days. Some people refer to that as being part of the law of gender. I don't think so. I think it's still part of the law of polarity, because every human being, they are both feminine and masculine. It's just that they activate more of one side than the other. They enjoy to be in one side more than the other. But are they 100% feminine all the time? No. Are they 100% masculine all the time? Also no. Depends on what they are doing in which situation, and which situation is requiring which kind of energy to kind of work with. Questions? Okay, so when someone is calling me, Fatima, I have this big problem, I don't know what to do, I think my life is ruined, what does that mean? Equally, they have a great opportunity, isn't it? So when we lost the 1.1 mil in our business, and I'm panicking, right? So when I call my mentor, what does he say? So he asked me, who loses this kind of money? In my mind, a loser. But in his mind, well, you already have what it takes to create it. So focus on the opportunity, look for the opportunity. Guess what? Opportunity was right there, but I was not trained to look at it. No one is. We deliberately train ourselves to look at these opportunities and these kind of events for ourselves. You want to understand that the two polar opposites, this is one thing that you want to pay attention to. They exist at the same time with equally the same amount or the same length or the same proportion, so to speak. It's not like, okay, you have big success and little failure. No, equally with the same proportion, you have failure. With the same proportion, you have happiness. If you are experiencing unhappy or unpleasant kind of experiences in your life, so the proportion is the same. You can influence that proportion by up or down through using the law of cause and effect and what you focus on. Make sense? So don't assume that you can have big success with little failure, or you can have too much misery with little bit only happiness. I.e., a lot of spiritual people who are religious, they take that as a virtue. Bullshit, right? There is no virtue in that. If you are experiencing hardship for extended period of time, there is some serious change you need to do. Definitely you need to apply this law, because with the same proportion, you can extend You can move from being miserable or unhappy or unpleasant with your life circumstances to being extremely happy, extremely satisfied, extremely grateful for the amazing opportunities that you're experiencing and happiness that you are experiencing in your life. If you are experiencing an event that you are not happy with, that's deliberate. Because by law, they should not be there. They should move from one polar to another. If they are not moving, that means you are choosing that deliberately to stay that way. So now that you are aware, what do? You influence it. How? You launch a desire. You know that you are in a position of power. You launch a cause through other actions that you will take, and you say, you know what? I know I have not been successful. I know that I have not been happy in this area of my life. I have been, for example, overweight. I know that my perfect body exists somewhere. Let me focus on this. This is already have been the time, their time is over. Let me move over here. And you start to cause a shift in the area that you want. Make sense? First point to use this law is in your recognition. I know that my success, my prosperity, my happiness, my relationship, my health, my vitality, whatever you want is there. You call it. You look for it. 1 day, 2 days, you will find it. Once you find it, you grab it. You grab it, and then you continue to cause the shift that you want. As I said, that the proportion is the same. The proportion is the same. For example, as you are, let's say some people, they work very hard at some jobs, right? And they say, Fatima, I'm working very hard in my job, but the income is not a match. Okay, let's look at it. You are exchanging energy. You are exchanging your hard work, physical activities, with your time to gain what? You should have received something. Let's say if you have received some recognition, that was your exchange. If you have received some, maybe your satisfaction was to sit with your colleagues at work and complain about the situation. You have received it, man. Versus you deliberately say, you know what? In exchange for my hard work, I want X amount of money. Therefore, you are clear. You are clear in your ask. This is what you are expecting to receive. Deliberate versus random. You guys get that? We are hoping, because we are good-hearted people, we do the right thing, we are generous, we are kind to people, that universe will respond back to us in the same nature. Not always. Because you already have a hidden agenda. That comes from your previous conditioning. Right? If you have been programmed that, oh, you know what? You should not be greedy. You will never receive what you deserve, your worth, your true worth for the hard work that you have been doing. But if you say clearly, in exchange for my energy, in exchange for my hard work, in exchange for my kindness, I expect from universe X, whatever that means to you. Then by the law of cause and effect, you are causing that effect to show up in your life. This is key, guys. Make sense? Again, the laws are working 100% of the time. They do not discriminate. They do not. They work for everyone all the time.
Can you please explain this one more time or more clear?
Okay, which part of it is not clear?
I'm a little bit confused about it.
Which part you are confused about? We said so many things about this.
Yeah, just this example. I don't know. One more time, can you please explain it?
Okay, so way. I don't know what you're looking for, but there's this notion that we do good, we don't deserve this. We don't deserve what we are getting, right? There's this whole law about the law of worthiness, and I discuss this a little bit later inside the anatomy of wealth, but use the law of polarity. Make it simple, very simple. Law of polarity says what? In exchange of X, I receive same nature of what I'm exchanging, I should receive. if I'm exchanging, sending out my energy in a form of hard work, I produce services, I produce products for this organization I work with. Let's say I work for a factory and I work 10 hours a day, and I produce so many products and services for this organization, but what they pay me is not a match, right? Throughout the day, what I'm receiving is I complain. I join a complaint club with my colleagues. I feel yes, I'm doing something productive, but yeah, you know what? Receiving money is not really kind of, it's, what's the word? It's not spiritual, or I should not be greedy. If you have these hidden kind of causes or hidden limitation, that will be the thing that you have already received for, because that takes priority. If you want to overcome that, you must be clear in your ask. I don't mean go and talk to your boss and tell them, in exchange for this, I want this. You are very clear. I'm interacting with my neighbor. I'm being kind to this neighbor. I expect God, universe, that someday someone will be kind to me in the same nature. So that's a fair trade, so to speak. You exchange, you will receive. But if I'm just doing without expecting anything, and I have an operating belief that says people are assholes, life is not fair, guess what will happen? People will be assholes, life will never be fair to me. I received already. What did I receive? What I believed in. So universe provided. What got president? What got president is the foundational belief that I have. So I'm not on a mission to change my beliefs. It takes a long time. I understand. Let me create a cause. Deliberately asking for what I need. How does that work? In exchange for this, I want this. And then you start to look for it. You start to expect it to happen, and it will happen. This is how the law works. Make sense? But everything really with the laws start with your ability to recognize. If you are recognizing it, therefore you are able to attract it to you. If you fail to recognize it, then it's by default. It doesn't take your permission. It just works as it's working. The question is it working in your favor or it's working against you? Is it giving you more power? Is it bringing you into more alignment with the universe? Is it strengthening your faith? Or is taking power away from you and you start to question your faith? You start to question all the wonderful principles in this life. There's no justice, there's no love, there is no unity, there is no this, all of that. Cannot be. Make sense? Let's see. Okay, one thing you want to understand with the law of polarity. So this is the entrance, right? So you recognize the up, the down, the female, the male, the positive, the negative. But at the heart of it, and this is the next level of the law of polarity or the law of opposites, that really there is no right or wrong. There is no bad or good. Everything is just is. But you cannot recognize this at first stage. First stage will be to recognize the polarity, the two polar opposites, male, female, and so forth and so forth. But as you practice this law more often, you will recognize really there is no bad or good. There is no love or hate. There is no up and down. Everything is just is. If you reach to this level, you already are operating from a spiritual realm versus physical realm. Remember, what did I say? This law will help you operate at a very low level of awareness, which is human, just physical body. Children can understand that. But over time, as you're practicing and you're reaching this awareness that everything really is, therefore you're not attached, therefore you're not triggered, that's your spiritual kind of evolution. And you're operating from a completely different frequency, from different realm. Life becomes your craft, really. Nothing can get into you. Nothing can challenge you. Because everything simply is. Do I operate like that all the time? No. I do my best to do so. It's a work in progress still. No one really is this way. Because if we reach that point, we are at the top highest point of awakening. We operate truly as divine. We operate like God. Do you think God loves me more because of a headscarf and doesn't love you because you don't have? Just bullshit, right? Everybody is just loved. Everything is just is. We make it bad or good through the point that we are looking at it. Our perceptions gives it meaning. Our perception is making it in a certain way. You guys get this? So first level of awakening, which is very low level, it's not bad, it's just first stage, right? That you are coming to understand this law from your human being. As a human being, you are coming to understand this law. You operate with what you see, touch, smell, feel, all of that. As you are working with this law over time, you grow in your evolution, you grow in your understanding and your consciousness, and you reach a point that really there is no up and down, there's no polarity. Everything in the middle is just is. And this is really the truth of life, if you can operate from that perspective. So here, one thing I want to add, this is the final thing I want to mention, that the meaning that you give to anything, positive, negative, up, down, whatever, success, failure, rich, poor, whatever, the meaning that you give, set a notion of cause and effect. Therefore, you should be extremely careful of the meaning that you associate and attach to things that happen to you. We think, oh, this is just normal. This is how my family, they talk, or this is how I was raised, just to say things in randomly. But what you're doing, your words create, and you are setting forth a whole ripple of cause and effect to create more of the same nature of the things that you just associated. Because in that very moment, it was not word that you said, it was not only language that you use, you associate, you charged it with emotions. Therefore, your subconscious mind, universe knows that this is important for you. If it's important, it will give you more of it. Do you see how dangerous this is? I hope you do. Sanaz, what's your question, my dear?
Regarding this law, because sorry, I'm using two devices because my microphone is not working. You said giving meanings, and these days I'm having trouble understanding because this law was working perfectly for me till some human rights issues is happening in Iran, and I'm questioning a lot of like reasons why stuff, and I still don't find meaning for the all the negative things and dark things that are happening in the world. Is it an appropriate question to ask here that how can we give meaning to these things? Because you don't want it to take you to negativity and all those questions. But
I'll tell you my perspective, because I'm heavily involved with this and I take it to heart. So here's the thing, something is happening in Iran. It's a complete chaos, injust, you name it, right? Big words we can use. Here's the way I see it. I see this as a collective launching of a desire called different reality. It comes with a cost, yes. It comes with injustice, yes. But through these demonstrations, points of demonstrations of injustice, we know that, yeah, I should respect everyone's religion. I should respect everyone's desire. I should treat other people in XYZ kind of way. Very easy for people to fall into the trap of, yeah, right or wrong, black and white. There's a whole rainbow of colors. At the heart of it, what do I want to create? What do I stand for in here? And everyone will come from their own values. They will come from their own beliefs. And yes, this is risky. This is dangerous. It has so many things. Not for a second, and I have been very, very active. I feared, not even for 1 second. Why? Because I'm operating with the law. If I'm exchanging my energy, in exchange for my energy, what am I asking for? I'm very clear about that. What is the cause that I'm setting forth? Okay, can it fire back at me? It can. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to use what I know. I'm going to exercise my faith. I'm going to apply my trust in the universe. There is no power outside of you is stronger than you. It does not exist. But no one wants us to know these facts. No one wants us to come into our own power. Because if I'm powerful, you cannot force me to do anything. Therefore, you have no power. Then what's left? You cannot rule. Right? So not you, Sanaz, I think you know what I'm saying. But if everyone will come into their power, there is no poverty, there is no misery, there is no misunderstanding, there is no division. None of that. What did we say is the rule, the law of all laws? God is non-duality. God is, right? What does that mean? What is the interpretation of that law? Is unity. We are all one. We come from one source. So if we come all from one source, that doesn't make anyone right or wrong. It's just that everyone is operating from what they prefer. Does that make their preference wrong or right? It doesn't. So if it doesn't work for me, I have a moral obligation to say, Sanaz, you know what? You are crossing the line in here. I don't appreciate that. And we start to have communication. Sometimes this communication can get heated. Sometimes this communication can be taken to places that are not just, not fair. But if you remain not attached, if you remain in a position that this is not good, this is not bad, this is just is, if I'm at this point that this is just is, what am I creating? And you start to create that, you stay firm in your belief, eventually you will get what you want. You will have what you want. But if we are falling by default, chaos, really what will happen. Make sense? I trained my daughter and she used this against me all the time. I'm challenged because she's using it, right? But what is a better way to raise new generation other than to teach them that, hey, you have power. God gave you everything. You have rights. This is how you should operate in life. Don't do this, do this. So we are giving them the essence of our experience. But if you apply this law, only this law, in any area of your life that you feel limited or constructed, or like in any way that your freedom is kind of taken away from you, trust me, if you operate with this premise in your bubble, you are powerful. In your bubble, you are supported with unseen forces. God is on your side. No one can touch you. No one. I have spoken with masters who told me, I get on an airplane so that airplane doesn't crash. When I heard it, I said, what an asshole, like braggadocious. They are telling me that because of me, that not me, them, right? My mentor, my someone like highly evolved person was telling me, I get on an airplane so the airplane doesn't crash. To me, that was braggadocious. Now, after so many years, I'm recognizing, no, that was this person standing in their power, knowing that they are this much powerful, that can have an entire airplane, land safely without anybody being crashed or hurt or harmed in any way. One single person. So if one single person is able to do so, imagine if collectively we will be behind one single idea. Massive power. Massive power. We need just to remain focused. This is really what it is. We don't want to deviate. We need to stay in what we believe to be true, and without limiting anybody's freedom. So equally, if I'm expressing my thought and someone who is the regime supporter is coming and they are expressing their thoughts, they are entitled to. May the best man win, so to speak. And by the way, win can only happen when you are creating a win-win for everyone. Even in war, when people go into war and kill each other, there is no win. Because you cannot have win at the expense of another. That's bad karma. Karma is one of the laws of in spirituality. So where are you going? Whatever you are doing, it's a cause and effect on its own. That's why I'm very, very conscious not to limit anybody's freedom, including their freedom to go against me, including their freedom to kind of criticize me. This is their opinion. I have work to do not to be offended. I have work to do to remain in love, to give them permission to be, and influence them through my power to see a different view. What did we say? Everyone is attacking the universe from their perspective, from what they believe to be true. Does that make sense? Okay, very good. Okay, the next law, number 3, the law of cycle. This was very difficult for me in the beginning to understand. Another word for this law is the law of rhythm, or the law of biorhythm. This was very difficult for me to understand because of the people who were teaching it. They didn't understand it themselves. So I'll break it down for you so you can understand it. We live on 3 planes simultaneously. So we are actually spiritual beings who have a mind, we have an intellect, and we live inside a body. So the 3 planes that we live in is spiritual, mental, and physical. Okay? So simultaneously we live at the same time in all these three levels. We think, no, I'm only in my body 7 p.m. inside my office, this is where I live. No, not true. So simultaneously we live in three planes. This law calls for the integration of these three levels in a very, very specific way. So each level of this self that you live in, you have high points and you have also low points. You guys get this? You get this? Okay, very good. So if you have high points and low points in every level, that means when you are experiencing anything in any level, that equally means will be affected in other levels as well. Clear? No? Okay. Let's say I have a headache right now. Just like I don't, but let's say I have a headache. Severe headache I have. So physically, I'm experiencing pain. Mentally, what do I say? Mentally, I'm not sharp. I'm not present with you guys. Spiritually, I'm like spiritual. My spirit is also not well because I think this is not fair. Why should I have headache? And for example, I don't know, Diana, she doesn't have a headache. This is not fair. She should have a headache with me as well. Or Dana, sorry. You know, so it just creates a mess for you when you're experiencing pain in any of the levels. Sometimes the pain is not physical, it's emotional, but it causes physical damages and spiritual damages because it remains with you for extended period of time. So this is how you experience the effect of your interaction with the universe inside your body through this law. But that doesn't mean that it just goes one way, it doesn't go the other. No, you will go the high points of whatever, and you will also reach the lower points of this this state. Meaning some days you will be in your top shape. You feel energized, you feel on top of the world, your spirit is high, you feel confident, you want to conquer the world, you want to hug everyone, you want to be so generous with everybody. You have some of those days. Some days you don't want even to get out of the house. How do you explain that? That's just the natural law of rhythm. You go through cycles and you alternate through those cycles. You don't stay there for long. The beauty of you recognizing this law is that you can interfere and inject a cause to shift your effect. Make sense? So to simplify this, you are a broadcasting machine or tower. Either you are collecting energy or you are sending out energy, isn't it? This is what you're doing. So either you are injecting or projecting energy. How do you inject energy? How do you take energy? Through food, through what you drink, through what you wear, what you put on your skin, what you hear, what you see, people you interact with. This is how you inject energy inside your body. How you project? Through your thoughts, through your words, through your actions, through your creation. If you're an artist, or you are creating a product or service or something that you are doing for someone, you are projecting your energy that way. So as you're doing that, you will reach points high and low in every stage of those kind of interactions. So if you got sick, you should know that, okay, I'm not going to be sick forever. This is just the low point, and the law of rhythm is in action. Now let me see how I can inject different kind of energy inside my body so I can move out of this state of being ill or sick faster or sooner. This law doesn't work on its own. This law works in integration with other laws. If you leave this law to work on its own, then the cycle will be very lengthy for you to recover from it. Okay. So is it clear now, Dana? I hope so. But law of rhythm, let me explain in another way. So seasons of life, right? So you have winter. What comes after winter? Spring. And then what? Summer. And then what? Autumn. Would it stay summer all day long? No. So your understanding in this will remove this notion of, I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I don't know, like I don't have power. I'm a procrastinator, all kind of shit that you say about yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm not disciplined. I'm not focused. This is not true. You have to have grace with yourself and understand, you know what? Oh, law of rhythm is in action right now. I'm going through a cycle. It's that time of the month. By the way, it's for girls and also it's for boys equally. Or for, you know what, that's just today, I'm under the weather. Okay, great. But today I'm a cause also. How can I change this? How can I influence a better effect as a result of me being in this state? So you are injecting different things inside your body so you can project the outcome that you want. Sometimes going for a walk helps. Having a hot drink will help. Having a conversation with a good friend will help, and so forth. But law of rhythm is not a bad thing. That just means that I'm going through a cycle, and now I need to get help from another law to integrate into a different level. So this is extremely helpful for those who have chronic pains, right? Because the pain is physical, but you can change the physical pain. How? Through your mental faculties. Through your thinking, you can influence it. If your spirit is high, you can shift your thinking. And through shifting your thinking, you can change the molecules of your body. How do you think people heal themselves? Through medication? No. Medication is external, that becomes internal. But your thought, your spirit is 100% internal. You are injecting it right away inside your body. So I hope I provided enough explanation. If this is not clear enough, let me help you. Yes, Shoshana. You are muted.
Okay, now the last month, I have been really working on my physical. I said, okay, I've been abandoning it. Okay, so I've been going for Atlas treatments. I've been doing a certain type of exercises and so forth. So I've noticed from this that I feel more moving forward. Like I feel mentally, emotionally better, like not huge roller coasters, you know. So I figured if each of these are like wavelengths, that somehow I'm working to get some sort of coherence in the sense that I'm moving forward, because I figured this is the weakest link to work on. Now, I think I am experiencing this law, and I got to figure out, because still,
let me help you. So
emotionally, I'm responding, I'm reacting still. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to say. If you are reacting, you are not activating the law. The beauty about you understanding the universal laws, and why would I say the law of rhythm, for example, and I don't give you the law of attraction? By the way, I'm not going to speak about the law of attraction, because the law of rhythm, if you understand, you will understand the integration of life. Therefore, you will not remove yourself from any situation, from any community, from anybody. It has a bigger scope than just me operating on 3 planes. Here's the thing. If you can understand that, okay, I'm seeing whatever I'm seeing. I'm experiencing headache. Okay, there's a message for me. And instead of me running to grab a pill to kind of suppress the pain, no, let me look. Okay, headache. What did I do? Oh, I was stressed for no good reason. Let me go back and nourish this self. Let me go back and take care of this thing that I have, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And the way to do it is to inject energy. How do you inject energy? We said it through your thoughts, through your feelings, through you eating certain things, natural things. Like, for example, eating a pizza will not help it. But if you were to go for a green salad, for example, it's natural, it has energy, it's vibrating. So it will nourish you. So this is what you're doing. It at every point in your interaction with these laws, in any endeavor, you're holding yourself as this precious, holy, graceful thing who is coming to their power, who is exercising their power. Therefore, your action or reaction cannot be demolishing that kind of statement or that kind of argument that we are standing on. Makes sense, Shoshana and everyone?
Yeah, I'm thinking
you cannot contradict yourself, and this is great, because this is how you come to know, oh, this is a limitation I have. Screw that. I'm not going to believe in that. I believe that I am powerful. I am coming into my power, and today this is how I will exercise my power. And you allow the law to show you, because it's highly responsive. These 4 laws that, guys, I'm telling you, they are extremely quick to respond back to you. Right away, you can see the effect of it as you are working with it.
Because Fatima, I feel this is very dynamic. I mean, super, super dynamic. It's like I've been kind of watching this for years and not understanding what it's about that I'm watching. Okay. Yeah. But it seems to me that there's at any moment there's this like instant feedback. It's almost like you feel like you're on a road, I guess, a coherence, whatever, and all of a sudden you veered off of it. Mm-hmm. And then you if you catch yourself and you realize, oh, this thought caused this pain. That I didn't take a deep breath. I overreacted.
Yeah. So, because here's the thing: in your body, you have cells that are addicted to the emotion of the past. It's restored in here. You cannot remove it right away. It takes time to replace it. So this addiction that I have, for example, for gossiping, it's a bad thing. So if I have an addiction for gossip, just example, it's very difficult to change it right away. Anyone is telling you so, they are delusional. It will change, it will subside over time. In your recognition of the law of rhythm or cycle or the biorhythm, you are recognizing the integration of life with each other. And no state or situation is permanent. You recognizing that gives you hope. gives you something to look out for, you know, it gives you kind of encouragement to start a new day and do things differently tomorrow.
So I should be really happy, like that.
Of course.
The awareness in me is growing in this, like that, because I'm seeing how dynamic it is, and I'm like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I was like this morning I had a treatment, right? So I'm like this, my arm and everything is I mean, I guess it's kind of shaking as if I had Parkinson's, right? I know I don't, but I had to say, okay, I've gotten my atlas, I've gotten my hips, like everything, my spinal column is getting more and more aligned. So it's the extremities that is kind of just trying to get it out of my body, you know, but I didn't think that there was something wrong with me. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. One thing I have done with the law of rhythm, which is still under experiment, I'm experimenting this still, that cycles, right? So I was asking myself, is it 2 cycles up and down? Is it 4 cycles? How many? I like the cycle of 7 in life. So personally, I think, you know, like the cycles of life, we start as infant, we move through the life, become teenagers, and then our peak, and then until we die, right? So I look at whatever situation I'm in. When I want to apply this law of rhythm, I will say, okay, which stage I'm in, inside this cycle, which stage I am. If this is just starting out, I immediately can change it. If this is, for example, at the teenage, that means this will give me a little bit hard time. It will challenge me because it will be stubborn with me. So therefore, the energy that I'm injecting in will be different for me. What's the key point in here? My recognition. So I'm trying to apply strategies or concepts that will help me better navigate and work with this law. I told you,
Okay.
This was not the easiest law for me. So many people confuse me when it comes to understanding this law.
Because Fatima, if I'm doing things that physically balance me, integrate me, this kind of thing, then the emotional and spiritual have to shift at the same time. So
No.
I think what I'm noticing is that when it's not shifting at the same time and saying, oh, that's why I feel like, oh, I have this off moments here and this
Hear
off
me
moments
out.
there.
The beauty about this is that it may or may not necessarily shift at the same time. It's in your recognition that, okay, I'm doing something with my body, therefore I should feel better. You are actually promoting that feeling. You are calling forth that feeling to come to you versus expecting it to happen by default. It may not happen, especially if we have been on a negative cycle for extended period of time. That's the whole purpose of this law. In your recognition, in your application, okay, if I am physically not well, but spiritually very strong, that means I can impact positively my other 2 planes. So you have to kind of refrain from going to the cycle of, okay, I'm doing this with my body, why I'm not feeling good? That is a trap. With the same token, when people are about to make an investment or they are about to make a decision, they say, oh, I don't feel good about that. Okay, and then mentally, where is your process of thinking? They haven't done any. Physically, are you moving toward it and then not feeling good about it, or you are standing still and not doing anything? So this becomes this kind of bondage place to go to every time you want to create change in your life.
So this is, Fatima, this is kind of like I guess like an ecosystem within us that we have to manage. I mean, and so it's not, I mean, it affects obviously our environment too, but it's working with all these things and learning how to do it dynamically.
Absolutely. That's why I call it the law of integration. Okay, let's move to the last one because we are actually over the hour, way above the hour. The law of relativity. I love this law because it gives me permission to grow. The law of relativity. What does that mean? This law help you to go through life with power, with dignity, with confidence, with faith, simply because everything is just relative. So if you see someone who is earning millions of dollars and you are earning, let's say, just few thousand, your few thousand is actually millions of dollars for someone who's not earning any. Do you get that? So the trap is, though, the misuse of this law is when people are using it to compare themselves with people who are way different than them. So they start to feel bad about themselves. They use it as a mechanism for competition and comparison. That's a no-no. The law of relativity, this is, I call the law of risk and reward. Trust me, it gives you permission to grow quantumly, level after level. You skip even levels, 2, 3 at the same time. How does that work? Remember, we are multidimensional being. Therefore, you cannot attack your goal in a linear way, moving from point A to point B. You cannot do that. It's multidimensional. So it's all nonlinear. What does that mean? Within your environment, within your scope, if you were able to recognize, let's say, a millionaire, and you don't have any millions, you have probably just a day job, 9 to 5. If you were able to recognize someone who has a lot of money, so this is something I deliberately do to myself, right? I go look for people who are different than me, so I associate with them. Then you are using this law to say, you know what? If I was able to recognize that, that means I have the same seeds of the same thing that I'm looking for. Can you speak Chinese with me right now? Even if you can, I cannot speak Chinese. So that we cannot communicate, we cannot recognize each other. But if I was able to recognize someone who's having in quantum more than what I do, that means I have the same seeds. It's just the quantity is different. So ultimately, I can jump to that frequency. If I jump to that frequency, it will come to me versus me working hard to go to it. The law of relativity will help you accomplish that. How do you do that? You relate yourself to it. So when I was in the Bahamas and we were in this mansion and it's so beautiful, and our neighbor is Johnny Depp, for example, he's a billionaire. I say, oh, wow, that's so cool because, you know, I go into vacations with Johnny Depp. Did I know? In my mind, I did a scenario like that. I was able to relate to it. Same when I want to feel my client's pain, right? So it's up and down. So if one of my clients are experiencing pain in an area that I cannot recognize, what do I do? What do I do? I create relativity to that situation with what I know, trying to understand, trying to kind of, not to embody, but just to have compassion, have empathy for what they are going through. So I can serve them, so I can understand them and be able to help them. So it's not always to relate to the goals or the money or the cars or the lifestyle that you want. It works in every area of life. Make sense? So this law again suggests integration and merger because you are skipping levels, you are skipping frequencies to come together to the thing that you can associate yourself with. So that happens very fast, happens very, very quick, and very, very easy. This and the law of least resistance, they go hand in hand. They cannot otherwise. Because let's say if you see someone with the thing that you want and you naturally feel happy for them, you celebrate them, you are already in that frequency, because when you have positive feeling or charged emotion for the things that they are experiencing as if it was yours, you already have created cells of recognition inside your body of the thing that you wanted. It's only a matter of time that you actually experience it inside your life and deal with it. Even when you do it, it doesn't have much taste because you already have tasted it when someone else had it. You guys get this? or it's too much complication? Yeah? Okay. So really nothing exists in singularity. It's not like, okay, I have $10,000. This is my income. This is only my income. There's no such thing. Your income in relation to what? Right? When I say poor or rich, in relation to what? When I say fat or slim, in relation to what? You guys get this? Success and failure, in relation to what? There's always this thing. If you are able just to mentally comprehend this, you are never to question yourself. You will never feel jealousy or envy of anyone. Jealousy and envy will kill your success like nobody's business. Will take you out of the track of prosperity right away. But when you genuinely celebrate and feel happy for another, and even go out of your way to support another and participate in their success, your success will be magnified. But nobody's teaching us this. It's always us versus them. But we are all integrated. We are all together. And this person's success that you kind of envy, I'm assuming, or you feel jealousy or discomfort or whatever, is actually not much of a success compared to someone else higher. And your success that you don't actually value or give it any kind of thing, some people dream to be where you are at. To have that kind of awareness and understanding put you on a track of gratitude. You cannot be ungrateful for what you have. Once you are in a gratitude track, then you are attracting more of what you want. It's easy, it's effortless. You guys get that? This is how you skip levels very, very fast. You are grateful for what you have, but you are not satisfied. That's why you are going higher and higher. And actually, you going higher and higher, that's one of the laws of the universe, the law of increase. You cannot stay still. So the universe will support your evolution, but you have to finish what you need to finish where you are at. Make sense? Questions? So I can make a conclusion that the real secret behind all the universal laws is your consciousness, truly. Truly your consciousness. So these are my main 4 laws that I constantly operate with. I have sticker notes everywhere to kind of remind me. Now it's becoming so natural that I know. Let's say if I got sick today with a flu or anything, I know that I was the cause of it because I got in alignment with that idea. I got in harmony with that idea. I accepted it. So therefore, my body will go through a cycle. It will be a shitty cycle. So I have a job to do. I say, okay, I'm going to interfere this cycle by doing X, Y, Z. Injecting different kind of energy, using the other laws to come out of it in a more powerful and successful way. Yes, Masuma, you have a question? You are muted, my dear. Unmute.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's your question, my dear?
Yeah, thank you. So based on the example that you mentioned, it looks like that everything bad happened to me, even though the disease looks like that I caused that.
Yeah.
So it causes a misinterpretation. So some people has a cancer, you know. So you're saying that, oh, I have cancer because that is very common in the people with the mental disorders. I say that, oh, I did the bad things so this kind of stuff happened to me. So it is a kind of the stereotype that you don't help the people. They think that every disease that they experience that is something that they did something wrong before and then they got it. So it didn't help them to improve or think that differently, you know. It's especially if somebody have a depression, so it's caused that it goes down to the depression, because always they have the guilt, guilt feeling that, oh, I did something wrong, so still I'm in the worthless or something like that. I don't know how, actually I don't know the borderline in the line between the time that this is the something, external factor for disease cause your problem, or when you think that this is a disorder or this is a disease, that in a sense,
let me put you at ease. Let me explain it to you. So this is a great question, and I said it in the beginning also. There is nothing 100% caused by you. You are powerful, you are not that powerful. Everything is co-creation. So even when you are taking responsibility, you are taking full responsibility because you are empowering yourself to create change. Let's say if I say I'm only 20% responsible, and then you are 20, and then somebody else, therefore I will never create the change because it's not up to me. You are doing whatever you are doing to remain in a state of power, to remain in a state that you can cause a shift and a change for yourself. Now, back to the cause and effect. Cause and effect is not a singular thing. The way you see it in your life, let's say if I cause, for example, cancer for myself, I say, okay, you know what? I caused it partially to myself. It doesn't matter how it happened. Now I'm in a position to change it, and I will change it by deliberately creating a different cause so I can have a different effect. But nothing in life is created singularly. There's no such thing. It's always co-creation with other particles in life because we don't exist by ourselves. Are you telling me that someone who is living in a dirty environment, there's pollution in the air, and they are eating healthy, they cannot get cancer? There's no such thing. Medically, scientifically, they can potentially get cancer because the environment is polluted. So are they responsible? Yes. In what term? That maybe they could have moved away from that city. Maybe they could have done something. This is all in the realm of the past. Now that the event is here, I'm experiencing something I don't like: depression, cancer, sickness, financial hardship, whatever. What am I doing today to cause a different outcome or a different effect inside my life? But is it 100% your responsibility? I don't believe so. In the past, how it happened, how you reached here, it's not always 100% your responsibility. It's always co-creation with others. At the same time, you want to remain in responsibility to change it, because this is what will empower you to cause the change. Otherwise, people will wait for someone to come and save them. And that is the state of the world anyways, including my beloved people of Iran. They are waiting for others to do some of them actually, waiting for other people to do something different for them. Versus to say, you know what, we did it, now we can change it. Make sense, my dear? So it's always how you treat yourself. Do you hold yourself as this divine being, so amazing, so perfect, that has been operating against itself? Or no, I'm hopeless, I'm a victim, I cannot have anything, and it's all my fault, and therefore I'm just screwed, I can't do anything. It's always on how you view it. You want to use the view that is always empowering. Make sense? You are frozen, my dear. Any other questions? So I hope this was helpful. Let me give you some of the other major laws that are commonly used. I'll just give you a list. I'm not going to go through them in detail. So we have the law of constant change. I love this law. We have the law of supply, the law of compensation, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. We have the law of consciousness, the law of karma. I believe in it 100%. The law of giving and receiving, the law of intention, the law of least effort. We have the law of increase. We have the law of forgiveness, the law of thinking, the law of devotion, the law of worth. This is my expertise: self-worth and self-deservedness. and the law of non-resistance or surrender. These are the other laws that commonly are used. But as I said, there are four main categories that you can look into it. But if you are able today to just pick one law and work with it for the next month, you will see tremendous shift in your life. I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys got the clarity that you needed. And now it's easier for you to start working with it and see some magic happening in your life.